Welcome to our book of the month, Lali's Feather, by Farhana Zia and illustrated by Stephanie Fizer Coleman. And when we look at our book, we look at our front cover and we see a girl, and I'm guessing her name is Lali, and maybe she's our main character. And then I see some birds. I see a peacock and a number of other birds. So I'm guessing that this has to do with a bird feather. Let's find out. Here's our back cover. And again, our same character and a number of birds. So let's get started reading. We have a dedication page here. It says to SMZ for never saying no, and Kathy Lendware for saying yes again. Thank you, by FZ, and for Seth Always, by SFC. Lali's Feather. Lali found a feather in the field. Whose feather? She did not know. It was a sweet feather, though. Ooh, ma! Was little Feather lost? Lali set out to find Feather a home. Rooster, Rooster, is this feather yours? Lali asked. No, Lali, no, Rooster replied. My feather is a big feather. It makes me a lordly bird. That feather is a little feather. It's not mine. Crow, Crow, is this feather yours? Lali asked. No, Lali, no, Crow replied. My feather is Perky Feather. It makes me a speedy bird. That feather is a pokey feather. It's not mine. Peacock, Peacock, is this feather yours? Lali asked. No, Lali, no, Peacock replied. My feather is a fancy feather. It makes me a handsome bird. That feather is a plain feather. It's not mine. Cheeky birds, cried Lali. If you don't want Feather, I shall keep it. And that is what she did. Feather and I will do 100 things, Lali said. She ran to show Hen her feather. Go, go, Hen giggled. My feathers can keep my babies warm. Lolly, oh Lolly, what can little Feather do? Feather can do this, Lolly said. Lolly and Feather wrote a note to Goat. Ma, Hen explained. I didn't know little Feather could do that. Lolly ran to show Duck her feather. Go, go, Duck chuckled. My feather can keep me dry from shore to shore. Lolly, oh Lolly, what can Pokey Feather do? Feather can do this, Lolly said. Feather and Lolly swept the floor from door to door. Ooh, ma, Duck cried. I didn't know Pokey Feather could do that. Lolly ran to show Blue Jay her feather. Go, go, Blue Jay tittered. My feather makes everyone say ooh and ah. Lolly, oh Lolly, what can plain Feather do? Feather can do this, said Lolly. Feather and Lolly fanned the fire a little higher. Ooh, ma, Blue Jay cried. I didn't know plain Feather could do all that. Feather and Lolly made sister sneeze. Feather and Lolly tickled Bapu's toes too. Little Feather twirled and whirled, it shimmered and glimmered. Wah, it's a clever feather, observed the birds. Then Big Old Wind burst with a whoosh and gave Little Feather a great big lift. Feather flip-flopped, teeter-tottered, up went Feather, up, up, higher, higher, over the huts, over smelly bins, over mango trees and tamarind tree. Oh, Feather, stop! Feather didn't stop. Feather flitted, Feather fluttered, Feather floated away. Oh, ma, Feather, sweet Feather, sobbed Lolly. Rooster wept too. Lolly, dear Lolly, you can have my feather, cried Hen. It cannot write a note, but it's a warm feather. Do take mine, cried Duck. It cannot sweep a floor, but it's a dry feather. Here's mine, cried Blue Jay. It cannot fan a fire, but it's a colorful feather. But Lolly didn't want their feathers. Lolly wanted her feather, her little pokey plain feather. Lolly, dear Lolly, dry your tears, Crow cried. I will bring Sweet Feather back in a jiffy, in a snap, in the blink of an eye. Crow flapped her speedy feathers and flew from tree to tree. And Peacock, why, he also flew because he missed Feather too. Fly, birds, fly, fly faster. Wait, Feather, wait, no. Jai-ho! Lolly's feather came back. Hip, hip, hooray! Cried the birds. Lolly, oh Lolly, we want to play with Feather too. Lolly and Feather played in the field with friends until the end of the day. The next day, Lolly found a button in the field. Whose button? She did not know. It was a shiny button, though. And that's the end of our story. Wonder what you'll do with that button. Thanks for reading or watching our reading.